Shit. What up, y'all? Cool. What's up, Americans? How's it going? Live in the dark. Come on in. And like YouTube ain't sending out notifications. I'm gonna share this shit into my Discord group, copy link. Cause YouTube don't like sending out. I had to switch over to Discord. Say something in the chat room if you there. What up, Zeb Fly? Shit. Woo. Come on in the chat. Welcome. Catch me live. Yeah, Jive Clive. Catch me live. Good evening, Positive Influence, Taj Dollars. Yeah. Catch me live February 25th at the Comedy Chateau. The Comedy Chateau. North Hollywood, California. The ticket link is in the description. The ticket link is in the description. Oh, you say you saw my Mad Dog post? Yeah, I got Mad Dog by a nigga that looked like Jeffrey Osborne. That shit was crazy. My caffeine channel isn't up all the way yet, but follow me on caffeine at DwannB. The same it is here. My tags are the same across all social media: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, caffeine at DwannB. DWANNB. I also own DwannB.com and DwannB in the metaverse. I own all that shit. So DwannB.com is being built. My web guy called me earlier today, and I didn't get a chance. I was doing something, and I didn't get a chance to get him back. Look at the moon. The moon's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. Good evening, 225 girl. Yeah. Man, I love to do 5150 again, you know. Corey's a mastermind as to how he runs his show and how he books it and everything like that. So Corey will call me whenever he need me on the show. That's Corey Holcomb. He don't need me. He don't need me to do shit. Whenever he can use my input and knowledge, he'll hit me up. But in the meantime, I'm watching 5150 every Tuesday. That shit. I don't be catching 5150 live in the chat that much though, because y'all know I do my show and Craig Facts on Tuesday. So when 5150 coming on, I'm usually kind of decompressing. I don't want to listen to nobody talk. But either later on that night, either late night Tuesday or early or first thing when I wake up Wednesday morning, I'm watching 5150. That show funny as hell. Yeah. I ain't got none of my mods in here. That means YouTube has been look, this is what YouTube does. Every time my channel gets on a run to where I'm getting a whole bunch of views and a whole bunch of people really subscribing to my channel, like after 51, like every time I do 5150, I get like at least 500 new subs to this channel. Every time I do 5150. And the last time I did 5150, it was a combination of 5150, that Fox Soul interview that I did, and and so my channel had because it was stuck at 10,000 for like a long time, and then it's kind of opened back up around 11,000. It kind of opened back up. Then 12,000 came kind of fast, 13,000 came kind of fast, 14,000 came kind of fast. But the minute I got to 14,200 subs, this shit had slowed down. Like my analytics said I only have 36 new subs in the last month. That's some bullshit. I usually average 200 new subs a month. And that's when I don't do 50. my average when I'm not doing 5150 or other shows. That's just this channel's average is about 200 new subs a month. Channel, I'm having mods. People hit me up saying they ain't getting notifications. So I'm gonna get into the meat of this topic a little later because I know that this for me to only have 11 people in here and 0 mods, that means notifications ain't going out. Did y'all get notifications or did you just stumble across the channel? How did y'all hear about it? Was it notifications or was it you just stumbling across and saw that I was live? You got a notification, 225 girl? Yeah, he's motherfucker. Yeah, I appreciate that, Taj Dollars. Yeah, I love doing Craig Facts, man. Ain't nothing but love. Like, ain't nothing but love between me and Craig. Even like Craig brought it up on the show last week. There have been moments where me and Craig do not see eye to eye, have not seen eye to eye. And I'm like, what the fuck is this nigga doing? And I'm sure in his mind, he's like, what the fuck is this nigga doing? I'm sure Craig's asking that shit about me right now. What the fuck is this nigga Dwan doing? But like men, we always know how to talk it out and, see how the other person is seeing and have respect. Whether we agree with it, how the other person is getting down or not is irrelevant. You got to have respect for it. And that's one thing I appreciate about Craig. Craig got respect, and I got respect for him, even when shit ain't on us, even when we ain't seeing eye to eye. And this is how it should be in life. You ain't got to see eye to eye with everybody all the time. Everybody ain't got to be friends. Everybody doesn't have to get along. This isn't the Joy Luck Club. You know what I mean? You don't need all that. You need to have respect and level of understanding differences. So that's just what it is. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? 225 girl say mostly notifications are good. This is how I know YouTube is on some bullshit. My sister, now mind you, me and my sister's my best friend. I love my sister. If me and my sister don't talk at least every other day, we talk at least 2 or 3 times a week. If me and my sister go more than 3 or 4 days without talking, it's just because one of us is just hella busy. She's had to, my own blood sister has had to resubscribe to this channel on 3 different occasions. She was one of my first subs. Back when I had 35 subscribers, my sister was one of the 35. And like right when I reached 1,000, she called me. She's like, it's weird. I remember subbing to your channel. Now, when I looked at your video, it said I need you to subscribe. So she resubscribed at about 1,000 followers. Then it happened again at around 5,000 followers. Around 5,000 followers, my sister called me. Like, it's crazy. Didn't we just talk a few months ago about your channel and me being unsubscribed? I was like, yeah. She resubscribed at 5,000 followers. And then when I got to like 11,000 followers, my sister was like, okay, I see what you mean. She's like, I see you be putting them posts up about how YouTube be tripping. She's like, this is the 3rd goddamn time I had to resubscribe to your channel. That's my own sister. So yeah. What's up, Nadish? Yeah, shouts out to Blue Capone. It's funny too. I was on the phone with one of my friends. Like I told you before, like one of my best friends in life is a cop, and he's an immigrant from Africa, Tanzania, but actually he's Indian. He's full-blooded, like Indian, like from India, but his family, his family moved to Tanzania, and he was born in Tanzania. Then he came here, and that's one of my best friends since 6th grade. We met in 6th grade. We've been tight ever since. But you know how it is when you get older, you don't talk to your friends that much. Like me and him, we may go to lunch or some shit like that like 1 time a year. And we may talk on the phone like twice a year, 3 times a year. But we just was talking on the phone today, and he's a lieutenant now with the LA County Sheriff Department, and he was just saying, we always cracking jokes on each other. And I brought him up because he was like, "You heard of this show called Roast Me?" I said, "Yeah, nigga. I was one of the first people Teddy Ray called to be on the show, but because I was going through a depressed stage at the time, and I didn't have the best relationship with All Def because of the bullshit they was putting me in before, I said no." He was like, "Yeah, because that's all we used to do in high school." And this dude got some of the best jokes I've ever heard in my life. He never misses with jokes. And he was said, he was this one guy named, was this light skinned guy and this kind of chubby dude. They funny as hell. He's like, "Do you know them?" He was like, "One of them is Craig and the other one, I think his name is Boo." I said, "Dude, those are my people, you asshole." I was like, "You remember when I first started doing comedy and you would come to my shows?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Them niggas would be on the show sometime." And he was just like, "Oh." It's funny how like your closest friends, I be thinking like, yep, y'all and people I know, like y'all be knowing more about me and what I got going on than like my closest friends. I don't be talking about none of this shit when I'm with my friends. We be clowning and doing other shit. They don't talk about my cop homie. He don't talk about being a cop. I don't talk about anything entertainment. We just talk about regular. Well, neither of us talk about our jobs really. And he was like, "You know this guy? That guy Craig is funny." I was like, "Yeah, you dickhead." It's just funny how things are, and I be thinking like, man, because I be forgetting the perception. How like you niggas really be looking at us people online, and Larry had to help me out with this. Larry Goodwill, sorry ass, he had to help me out with this. Like y'all be looking at us people online like stars, and I be like, man, if you don't pass me a blunt, get the fuck out my face. There ain't no goddamn star, none of that shit, boy. I'm a regular ass nigga that expresses his opinion, and then the minute I log off of YouTube, I'm back to smoking a blunt and listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire. My nigga Larry, he in Houston. He be like, "Man, these out here in Houston." He was like, every time I go to LA, out in Houston, they be, last night me and Larry was talking about taking pictures. We was talking about taking pictures. I don't ever take pictures when I go out. Like I'm just now learning I should take more. But it's funny, I was being like the biggest ass hypocrite. I was talking to Larry about how important it is that he take pictures because every time he go back to Houston, like they be like, "You was in LA?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, you gotta take pictures." But me, I don't be taking pictures. I'll be at the dopest parties. I'll be at the greatest events, and I'll be tweeting from that motherfucker talking about it. You niggas will think I'm home because I hear songs that I like, and I'm sending a tweet out about the songs that I like, and I'm in the most dopest shit ever. But I don't be taking pictures, and I'm regretting. Me and Kamir talk about. I'm starting to regret that because me and Teddy Ray only have. I don't think we have. I don't have any pictures of me and Teddy, and I was around Teddy a lot, and I don't have any pictures of me and Teddy. And I think there may be some floating around because I know we've taken pictures together, like in other people's phones that they may have posted on social media, and I'm not following them. But me personally, with my phone, I've never taken a picture with Teddy Ray. I didn't take one. Well, I did take a picture with Boogie B a month before he died. I I got a picture with Boogie B a month before he died, but even that wasn't my idea. That was Boogie B's idea. Boogie took that picture. He was like, "Come on, brother, let's go ahead and get this picture." I was like, I just got in the picture, and and he tagged me in it on IG. We got to take pictures and get more in the moment with what we see. You know what I mean? With what's around us. We got to take pictures. You know what I mean? And capture the moment. You know what I mean? You got to have that. You got to get in that moment. And then people tell me they appreciate it. So yeah, I was at a party this past Wednesday. That shit was so much fun. And it reminded me because actually the last 10 years I haven't been out as much as I used to. Like when I got married, this coming May will be my 9-year anniversary. Since I've gotten married, I don't really go out like that no more. So And when I was out this past Wednesday, it reminded me of what all the shit I used to do in my 20s and my 30s, and I don't have no pictures of it, or very few pictures of it, very few. And I've had some dope ass experiences. So it's like, you know what? I got to change this up. Got to change this up. And then what happened the minute I go out? I didn't take hardly no goddamn pictures. I think I took like one or two. But anyway, we're gonna get in to talking about what we're talking about. We're talking about Black History Month. And what is Black History Month? Somebody timestamped this at the 15:30 mark when we get into the topic. Black History Month. Ooh, that's shady. I got one of my neighbors trying to park, but I got that other neighbor. Y'all ever had a neighbor that parked right exactly in the middle of two cars? Where it's enough space for two cars to easily fit, but only their car is there because they parked where no other car can fit? Damn, that's fucked up. Anyway, timestamp it at 16 minutes. Black history. What is Black History Month? What is Black history? Let's talk about that. Let's discuss this because I was in a Twitter space earlier, and I saw one, and there was a Twitter space basically saying Black history should be inclusive of all Black people around the world, including the Caribbean and African immigrants that are here. And what we saw was a lot of Black Americans standing up and saying no. What we're seeing right now is Black Americans getting a spine. We're getting a spine in our backs about defending our culture. We've always had a spine, but when it comes to accepting our cultural uniqueness and defending it, that's where we've been dropping the ball. But there's a movement now that's picking that ball back up and running it into the end zone. And what's happening is, people are being put on notice. And it's no disrespect to members of the African diaspora, no disrespect to the brothers in Brazil, the Caribbean, Trinidad, Africa, the brothers in Asia, Mexico. You gotta forget it's brothers in Mexico too. All through Central and South America, Australia. No disrespect to any of them. But there's an equation that we have in relationship science. Relationship. Y'all know my former career, I still kind of do it, relationship coaching. Nowadays, I for the most part read your cards and get out of it. I don't really do the coaching like I used to, but I still am available for hire for the right price. Not cheap, so I doubt anybody hit me up for that. $250 an hour. But what happens is in relationship talk, the equation for a strong relationship is 1 + 1 = 3. That's the equation for a strong interpersonal relationship, a strong romantic relationship. You have to be a full individual. I have to be a full individual. And through our fullness, through our wholeness, the relationship is an entity within itself that's whole. But the wholeness of a relationship requires the wholeness of an individual. Now, that's not saying you got to be perfect. Oh, what up, dog? Like, who the nigga walking up? Yeah, I saw them. They parked shady than the motherfucker, didn't they? Yeah, man, I'm good. I'm over here live. You have a good one, dog. So, anyway, where was I? Okay, relationship. Any relationship that's going to be successful. Like the thing that has thrown people off when it comes to relationships is they tell you, they tell me, they tell us, it needs to be a 50-50 love. And people focus on the part about compromise. let's talk about something about compromise. You compromise in areas that you care about but don't really care about. You compromise in areas that you may like, but it's not going to change the overall structure of the entity within itself. That's where you have compromise. An example, a car. A car has a structural sound to it, right? Well, when you hit the bumper, when you hit the front, there's an area of compromise. It's called an impact zone. You have to compromise this area to save the person inside the car. Because back in the 40s, when they made steel cars, when there was no compromise, the person inside the car was the one that died. So compromise is necessary, but there's too much focus on the compromise. The compromise is the fringes of a relationship. Your core values, when it comes to a strong relationship, you don't compromise on your core values. If you have to compromise on your core values, you're probably going to get disappointed because you can't change your core and expect to be structurally sound. What's up, Quan? Finally got one of my mods up in this motherfucker. So compromise is one of those things where it is necessary, but it's not the core thing. You got to stay strong. You got to be strong. And that's a good relationship. Being strong from within, structurally sound. And if you're going to marry somebody, if you're going to be with somebody long term, this is where you compromise. This You compromise in areas of the relationship, like, okay, usually I don't like going to these type events, but at the end of the day, this event ain't bad. You know what I mean? Especially if you with somebody that you guys have a mesh with, they're not gonna put you somewhere. They're not gonna take you somewhere that's gonna, offend you. Offend you at your core. They know you well enough for that if they love you. But they may do some shit that you don't really fuck with. Like for me, example, my wife wanted me to start going to wine country and doing all these wine tastings. I'm like, I ain't drinking no damn wine. I ain't one of them old ritzy ass niggas. I'm a South Central weed smoking, Hennessy drinking ass nigga. But I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll roll. And through my compromise, I ended up finding something that I absolutely love. I love wine tasting now. I'm a motherfucking wine snob. I'm a, man, give me some cab and I'm good. Cab is my favorite. Pinot is second. Pinot Noir, there, not Pinot Grigio. And I love California Central Coast. I like wine. I like I like my light reds stored in a steel barrel, aged at least 6 years before I drink it. I like my deep reds stored in an oak barrel. You dig what I'm saying? I'm a wine snob now because of my wife. I never thought I'd be a wine snob. But if my wife asked me to, you know, and she never would because she know what kind of real nigga I am. But if she asked me to go to some show and it's a whole bunch of homo shit going on, then no, there is no compromise right there. I don't disrespect people who are gay. Y'all good. But I avoid your environments at all costs. I don't need to be in your environment. I respect gay people, but the minute some dude kiss another dude or somebody pull a dick out and do some dookie activity, my senses will be offended and I will not have a good time. So that's a core thing for me. But her having respect for me, she'll never ask me to do no bullshit like that. Nor would she. As a matter of fact, she wouldn't even think to bring it up. Because if I say yeah, that would bring on a whole nother set of problems. So that's just an example I'm giving as far as compromise. You know what I mean? There are things you can compromise on, things you can't. Back to bringing this into a racial diaspora context. In order for the diaspora to be strong, every subgroup, every every culture within the diaspora or a majority within the diaspora has to have a strong sense of self. and a unique identity and a positive cultural point of view of themselves. Positive cultural point of view of themselves. Everybody must have that, or the majority must. It is you're never going to have everybody, but the majority must have that. You know what I mean? You got to be proud to where you are because culture means more. Just it's always people out there that want to be like, you know what? Well, we just black. I hear where you're coming from. I'm not going to say anything rude or disrespectful, even though I want to, because I can be an asshole too. I'm not going to do that. But what I'm going to say is this. For people who just are into flat blackness and things like that, I challenge you as I get some ice, because I'm about to drink some of this bourbon in this. I ain't doing no wine tonight. I'm doing bourbon in this dish tonight. I'm not going to cut them with. I'm doing this bourbon straight. Fuck that. I'm doing this bourbon straight. Boybin and ice. Bullet boybin. Damn, I'm almost out. Well, back to what I said about culture. Hold on, let me set my phone down. This shit hard to open. There we go. Back to what I was saying about culture. I encourage people who want to say, okay, there's a flat blackness. Can't we all just get along? I encourage you to just take take a little study of cultural anthropology. It's a science, all right? And or sociology or even political science. Culture, that political science is more on the technical end, but if you're going to take it from an anthropological or a sociological point of view, culture is a thing that's developed that's within an environment, an ecosystem to help a group of people survive. Groups of people develop cultures to survive the current environment they're in. The environment including geopolitical, interpersonal, and natural environment. Basically, the trees, the earth, the topography. The culture of people who live on the plains is going to be different than the culture of people who live in the jungle. The culture of people who live in a city that's they built but were not allowed to participate in the wealth of is going to be different than the culture of people who come from a country that they're the only ones that they see, and they're although there are things built, it's not to the level of what's over here. Why am I saying this? What you hear when people aren't trying to claim our culture, when we're just having these regular conversations between black people and black folks across the diaspora, and not just black people across the diaspora, immigrants across the world. What's the first thing they say to black Americans? Why are black people complaining so much in America? They have so much. Americans don't know how good they have it. How often over your years before these culture wars started, how many times have you heard, press number one, if you've heard people say, Americans don't know how good they have it? Press number one if you heard somebody say that from another culture. I'm sure all of you have. Well, that's why we're complaining, because black Americans, we're not complaining over something that we didn't build. The reason why America has what it has is because we built it. It didn't exist before us. Y'all ready to talk some black history? Well, you have to understand there's a cause and effect relationship between our black innovation and America's wealth. Everything has a cause and effect relationship. And so let's go back to what I learned in history class when I was in the 8th grade. When I took American history in the 8th grade, I heard about this man named Eli Whitney, who supposedly invented the cotton gin. Now, even my white history teacher said Eli Whitney didn't invent the cotton gin. His slaves invented it, but slaves couldn't own patents. So he took credit and got the patent because slaves were not allowed to own patents. Well, when you take a history class, you find out, because let's think about this. Cotton. Why was cotton king? Cotton is a plant that's been picked across the world. There's Egyptian cotton, There's cotton in West Africa. There's cotton in East Africa. There's cotton all over the planet. They didn't need, they already had cotton in Africa and the Africans to pick it. Why was American cotton so worldwide? Not only, yes, on one hand, it was good quality. Yeah, okay, cool. But no, it was because of the cotton gin. When the cotton gin was invented, it allowed cotton plantations. I don't know the real numbers, but I'm giving you guys numbers as an example. These aren't the exact numbers for you dickheads that want to be technical. But just say a plantation put out 100 pounds of cotton a day because they had to de-seed the cotton. Well, if a plantation could do 100 pounds of cotton today with Mabel in the back de-seeding the cotton, now with a cotton gin, that same plantation can go from 100 pounds of cotton a day to 5,000 pounds of cotton a day. However much cotton can be picked, that invention can pump out and de-seed the cotton. So what that did was it turned America's economy into a super economy, because for every 10 pounds of cotton other countries could produce, America could produce 1,000. A 1-to-1 connection. The America's wealth didn't just come out of nowhere. There were inventions that put America's wealth to a point it can sell more product than other countries. Those inventions were created by us. We created the light bulb. So when we created the light bulb, it made America more efficient with its work. America could now create bigger factories. As a matter of fact, we created the power plant, the assembly line. When when Henry Ford wanted to mass produce cars, he went to Booker T. Washington. And Booker T. Washington, I'm sorry, not Booker T. Washington. Dyslexia. Booker T. Washington is the man that inspired Marcus Garvey and Tuskegee Institute. And that, my bad. George Washington Carver, that's the dyslexia, the Washingtons. Dyslexia like a motherfucker. But I'm proof you niggas that dyslexia, for all you kids listening, that dyslexia can't slow you down. It just make niggas confused every now and again. But George Washington Carver, Henry Ford called George Washington Carver because he wanted to mass produce cars. So Carver studied the plant and how a plant distributed resources and created what's known as the assembly line. Now in America, you can not only produce cars, you can produce cars at a rate that other countries won't be able to catch up to until way later. Super economy. Black Americans invented indoor plumbing. People from other countries be like, well, in America, you guys have running water, you guys have plumbing, you guys don't appreciate that. Well, that's because Black Americans refused to live in squalor. It was the Black American that said, you know what? I'm tired of going to the outhouse. Let me create something that can, every time I shit, get this shit out my house. Here comes indoor plumbing. Black Americans weren't given anything. We invented it. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? The people's eyebrow. You see the people's eyebrow? Do you hear me, nigga? When it comes to, I'm just scratching the surface. America can build higher high rises. Why? Because a Black American invented the elevator. So now our buildings can be taller than yours. And we can create these mega cities like New York to concentrate a bunch of people to get a lot of work done at one point at one time. We're talking about Booker T. Washington. Again, Booker T. Washington, George Washington Carver. Booker T. Washington is who invented Tuskegee. Again, dyslexia. George Washington Carver is the motherfucking inventor, and Big Big Ben. What's Big Ben's name? Y'all know he designed Philadelphia and Washington D.C. What's that nigga name? He got the afro with the part in his hair, looking like a skinny ass Arnold, a skinny tall Arnold, because he got the part in his head. What's his name? Designed the city of D.C. and saved agriculture. What's the fuck is his name? Banneker, Benjamin Banneker. That nigga, Benjamin Banneker, saved the farming industry with the Farmer's Almanac. America was about to starve. You know, it's shit that we invented. It's what's his name? Granville T. Woods invented the telegraph, which led to the fax machine. Now with faxing, businesses can communicate better. So the structure that made America great was the brainchild of Black Americans. And again, I know y'all can type for hours in the chat room different inventions. I'm not gonna name each one because shit, that requires 3 months of shows at 24 hours a day to name all the shit that we invented. So you niggas can look that shit up yourself for the rest of the inventions. Or pay attention to what the people in the chat room are saying. They'll lead you in the direction of some great people. That's just a small example of the things that we invented. Not only did we invent those things then, we invent it now. What's America's number one export? Music. Black people, America sells shit that we create from the ethers. We just think of some shit and put a beat behind it. And America sells that shit to the world. So for people from other countries to say Americans don't understand what we have, yes, we do. At least Black Americans do. We understand it. And that's why we always talking shit. Because we invented all this stuff and we're not allowed to participate in the wealth that created. And then here you come from a country that had no disrespect, but it had shit in the streets. And you telling us what we don't appreciate. That's disrespectful. So Black History Month is a time that we Black Americans created. Thank you to what's his name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. My brain ain't working right now today, y'all. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Miseducation of the Negro. Yeah, he wrote the book Miseducation of the Negro. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He wrote the book Miseducation of the Negro. Carter G. Woodson. Thank you. Carter G. Woodson came up with Negro History Week. Negro History Week was to celebrate the accomplishments of Black Americans. Because even 100 years ago, when Carter G. Woodson came up with that idea, the Black American invention list was already crazy long. We had already done so much 100 years ago. There was a need to celebrate those inventions. There was a need to celebrate Crispus Attucks. There was a need to celebrate the Buffalo Soldiers, even though I don't really fuck with them like that. It's still, there was a need to celebrate all that. So we created it. So now that cultural legacy has been passed down to me and to we and to those of us marginalized Black Americans who've been blamed for everything wrong with this country. This country finally, for a month out of the year, shortest month out of the year, decided to take some time to celebrate what we did. Now here you come. When all we've heard over the last 30, 40 years is, I'm not Black, I'm whatever other country you're from. That's all we've heard. It'll be different if this whole time the average, when they would be called Black, would just accept being Black. Those from across the diaspora, if you're someone who just accepts it, you know you're the minority. You know your own family be talking shit about you. And while we at it, make sure you get your ticket to the DwannB Live. It's in the description box right now. February 25th. I'll be doing this show live. Live interactive with some dope ass comics. Make sure y'all get your tickets right now. And book your cardology reading too at breakthroughas.org. Description of that's in the box too. And get your candles at lightthemood.com. We smoke 22 for Jayla's candles. I got one of them candles burning right now. Jayla, if you watching, look what I got, Jayla. I got my weed and I got your candle. Well, look, you see how much I be burning her candle? That motherfucker almost all the way gone. I also got my cards here. I was sitting around pulling cards earlier, trying to see what. Ooh, what's that? That is a Eight of Hearts. Eight of Hearts is a card of a lot of sex. That's the card of lots of sex. It's also the card of social charm, being a social charmer, somebody who uses their charm to get what they want. Eight of Hearts. Back to what we're talking about. Anyway, Black Americans, we taking our culture back. Not only are we taking our culture back, we're taking our ownership of what we've contributed and given to America back. We're taking our ownership of what we contributed to and given to America back. And we don't have for dummies. We don't have time for dummies. We don't have time for people who want to cosplay us and use blackness as some kind of jacket that they cloak on when it's time to talk about hip hop. But when it's time to talk about your culture, you ain't Black no more. No, sir. Them days are over with. Hey, did y'all? Let me one more time. Did y'all see how smooth I spread them cards? Ooh, y'all see how smooth I spread them motherfuckers? Then, ooh, I love my cards. Cards be telling you the truth, goddammit, about your motherfucking self. Anyway, back to what we talking about. I just love my cards. My cards are sitting here. Yeah. What's up, Mark by Smith? You late, but you on time, brother. You late, but you on time, my brother. Um. Anyway, so hey, nah, Biz Marty, I ain't roasting no marshmallows, but I'll tell you this: I got some mushroom marshmallows, and them hoes. I ain't microdosing on them today, but nigga, I've been microdosing on these. They're marshmallow. They're mushrooms. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna show y'all real quick. I'm gonna show y'all real quick. I'm gonna show y'all real quick. Let me show y'all real quick. Let me see. Where they at? Where they at? Here they go. Here they go. Here they go. Here they go. Here they motherfucking go. These here Boy, boy, boy. Mushmallows. Nigga. I be microdosing on these sometimes. Matter of fact, when I did my show on caffeine last Tuesday, not this past, but last Tuesday, not this past Tuesday, Tuesday before that, I was microdosing on these hoes. When I did Craig Fat, you see the mushroom marshmallows. Woo, nigga. Oh, here, this is a better view. You see them, nigga? Microdose on these motherfuckers, you will have a very productive day. Back to what we talking about. So we talking about Black History Month and why it's important. Let me get to the next part of what I'm talking about, why I want to say this. If you notice in the thumbnail, what colors is Black History Month? You're used to seeing Black History Month be red, black, and green, right? Or red, black, and or red, yellow, and green, or something like that, right? And I used to do it like that too. I used to now I'm not opening my. I can't do Skype when I'm on my phone. Skype is only when I'm on my computer. Yeah, red and black, Bismarck T. Red and black. That's what they usually do. You notice mine, I have red, white, and blue. And I changed my tune about 2020, 2021. I changed my tune. Like, red, black, and green ain't ours. What's up, Star? Star, you be low-key killing me sometimes with some of your comments. Star funny in the motherfucker. You can't look. If it's a woman that can sit through 5150, you know she's somebody that, yeah, she probably got jokes like a motherfucker. You can't say a goddamn thing to offend them either. Anyway, going back to the red, black, and green, or the red, yellow, or whatever. When Marcus Garvey came up with the red, black, and green, the green was for. Do y'all know that the green wasn't for the land? The green was for Ireland. He had an affinity for the Irish. And this is not to cast any aspersions or say anything about Marcus Garvey. This is that right there. And then when you got into the Black Power movement of the 60s and the 70s, when you get into that era, now you're talking about the red, black, and green being red. Roy Ayers has a song called Red, Black, and Green. Red, black, and green. Think about it. You know what I mean? Dinner, 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 dinner. I love that song by Roy Ayers too. Red, black, and green. Think about it. You know what I mean? Well, the way I look at that, Black Americans have been trying to find our cultural identity because we've been so lied to. So we've been trying everything. We've been trying to call, okay, what if we stop calling ourselves Negroes and call ourselves African Americans? What if we start Pan-Africanism and reach out to our African brothers? Then we find out our African brothers don't really fuck with us like that on the business tip. Now they fuck with us. I'm not saying this is not true for all y'all, but we're gonna tell the truth. On the business tip, these countries in Africa have not done anything to create any kind of exclusive trade with Black Americans in those countries that they have possession of. You dig what I'm saying? So there hasn't been any real kind of push to come together on a Pan-African tip, other than Gaddafi. Gaddafi tried, and they put his ass 6 feet under because of it. So We've been trying everything. We as Black Americans have been trying everything but ourselves. And Dr. John Henry Clark told us to try ourselves. Shouts out to Jimi Hendrix. You ever had that very comfortable shirt? I've had this shirt for like forever. I've had this. I've been 50 pounds heavier. I'm at my lightest weight right now, and damn, in forever right now. But this shirt be sticking with me through all my weights, ups and downs. My weight's like an accordion. My belly be expanding and contracting. I mean, this fat and less fat. Big fat, less fat. Big fat, less fat. Never skinny. Big fat, less fat. That's how I've been. This shirt sticks with me through thick and thin. Well, through thick and thicker, I should say. Back to what we're talking about. Well, we try. Dr. John Henry Clark said it in his famous speech. We have no friends. And for those of you who have my shirt, Black Americans don't owe anybody anything but an ass whooping. That's a quote that I got directly from John Henry Clark on his speech on his "We Have No Friends" speech. And so we have no friends. Dr. John Henry Clark said, all the love we've been giving to everybody else, we need to turn it inward on ourselves. And that's like towards the end of his speech. And that's basically how he ends that speech. So 30 years after John Henry Clark gives that awesome, amazing speech, Black Americans are finally heeding his advice. Because we tried everything. We tried reaching out. We tried the intersectional thing. We tried we tried the let's all come together minority thing. We've tried it all and ain't none of that shit worked. So now we're turning inward on ourselves. And we're recognizing that, you know what? United States, everything has a positive and negative, good and bad. We're recognizing that, you know what? We did build America. America is our country. And everything the world recognizes as good about America, from the potato chips and ice cream to the skyscrapers to the working rights and laws, all of the laws that treat you with any kind of moral, any kind of integrity, were laws that were put on the books because we demanded they be put on the books. All of this American greatness is because we put those laws on the books. All the American, and when they use the term American ingenuity, we're the ingenuity. So you know what? I'm not going to put up red, black, and green, or red, yellow, and green, or whatever admixture of colors today you say we need. No. Red, white, and blue. The United States. A black woman stitched that original flag, nigga. Do you know? Do y'all know? Let me know if you know why the sunshine. Well, people, if you listen to me regularly, you know why. Because I tell the story all the time, bro. Why is it our flag is red, white, and blue? It ain't nothing white people thought of. They ain't that smart. The flag is red, white, and blue because if you step outside right now, if you have a clear sky, you can look up right now, and the brightest star in the sky is our mother, Sirius, our mother star. Sirius is the star that our planet revolves around. That our sun that our planet revolves around the sun. Our sun revolves around Sirius, 4 light years away. The dog star, the beautiful bitch in the sky. Serious. Serious, when you look at it on a clear night, especially when Sirius is coming above the horizon, what colors do Sirius twinkle? As I drink with my pinky in the air. What colors does Sirius shine, y'all? Chat room, say something. You niggas listening? Or are y'all just so captivated by my voice and what I'm saying? Am I holding your attention that much in the dark? Hey man, I gotta give a special shout out to Sheena Arnold. That's my friend right there. That is like I love me some Tashina. And she's the one that pointed out to me. We were talking, she was like, nigga, you be holding people's attention in the dark, son. You know, she New York. You be holding niggas' attention. For me, I'm just like, shit, I like to talk. I'm a talking ass nigga. I don't see it as nothing special. But she kind of helped me. Nowadays, when you do your own goddamn thing, I just do my own thing. I don't see myself as special at all. I'm just a talking ass nigga, born on Wednesday. Wednesday is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication. I'm a Gemini, the house of communication, the third house. Nigga, I'm a talking ass nigga. But she helped me realize that's actually a pretty her and Kendall, the hypnosis Kendall. Kendall and Tashina Arnold both are people that help me recognize that actually being able to talk in the dark and shit is actually a gift. To me, I'm just running my goddamn mouth to y'all. I have fun with you niggas, so to me, this shit just fun. Anyway, the reason why it shines red, white, and blue is because I had to step outside and look. You see that star? What star is that? And then you see the Orion constellation. That's Sirius. Sirius. And Sirius shines. Right now, Sirius is directly in the sky. So she just basically shining blue and white. But when Sirius is about 30 to 40 degrees above the horizon, both rising and falling, she's going to shine red, white, and blue. The reason why America's flag is red, white, and blue is because it's a nod to our mother star. The reason why is red, white, and blue is the same reason why America celebrates its independence on 4th of July. I broke this down on my 4th of July episode for those of you who didn't watch or need a refresher memory. Why does the United States celebrate its independence on the 4th of July? American independence didn't happen. The actual Declaration of Independence wasn't ratified until August. It wasn't ratified on July 4th. It was ratified later. So why did they choose July 4th to celebrate American independence? I'll tell you why. If you pay attention, now I know we're 6 months away, so I'll remind you guys, we're 5 months away now. I'll remind you guys, 6 months. July is 6 months away. We're 6 months away from July 4th. I'll remind you guys in 6 months. But between the period of July 3rd to July 6th, 7th, the sun shines a little bit brighter. Y'all notice that? Do y'all notice on the 4th of July, you've never had a hazy, overcast day or nothing like that? Do y'all notice the 4th of July, the sun shines a little bit brighter than it does the rest of the year? Press the number 1 if you notice that. As I light my second blunt of tonight's broadcast. And I'm definitely going to be lighting another one when I'm done talking to you niggas. Pay attention. And I talked about it. I did a show on the 4th of July last year, and I said it back then. But It's the reason why you're never going to have a hazy day on the 4th of July. And here's the reason why. That same star Sirius, if you look up to the southern sky, if you go out, if I imagine, matter of fact, if you have a clear sky tonight, I encourage you to go outside and look, because black people, we need to get reconnected with ourselves as astrological beings. We have to reconnect with that. It's not just black kids. We gotta know that there's more than just Earth going on. But I will talk about that later, because all that goes on out there affects what goes on here. Well, anyway, and America knows that. That's why America has these symbols. Now they'll tell you this is pseudoscience. They'll tell you, oh, that's just some stuff in the sky. You shouldn't pay attention. Well, if what was going on in the sky wasn't so important, you wouldn't have flags being colored after them and Independence Day being celebrated on it. The reason why the 4th of July is so bright is because Sirius, that same star, is in direct alignment with the sun every year around the 4th of July. The star Sirius, the dog star Sirius that we see right now, it's in direct alignment with our sun. So the light from Sirius, mind you, Sirius is only 4 light years away. Versus if you look at like the Orion constellation, who's just to the right of Sirius, those 3 stars you see in the Orion constellation, those are 1,300 light years away. And if you look just above those 3 stars in Orion's belt, there's a big red star, a giant red star named Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse is 682 light years away. So that's just to give you reference when you're looking in the sky. Even though everything looks flat, the belt of Orion, which is just to the right of the star Sirius, is 1,300 light years away. And Sirius is only 4 light years away. Sirius is the star that our sun revolves around in this galaxy. Sirius is that's the star that the Dogon celebrate, and Sirius has a lot of influence on this planet. So Sirius, that is acknowledged through the United States by the coloring of the flag and by the 4th of July. And Benjamin Banneker, again, foundational Black American, was a master scientist, master astrologer who understood this information. Matter of fact, they got that from the people who were here. Ben Franklin, one of the creators of the Constitution, used to sit in on the black natives up in the what they call the Iroquois now. He used to sit in on their meetings back when the days of the Continental Congress, before the United States was a country, back when it was just the whatever the days, the colonial days. So the red, white, and blue is still a nod to our ancestors. Our ancestors understood this. Our ancestors understood the significance of different stars in the sky and how those energies played on Earth. Hell, if any of y'all ever had a card reading from me, anybody who doubts the planetary influence never had a card reading from me. You get a playing card reading from me, nigga. And I tell you what your Mars is, you're gonna know exactly why you be having where your confrontation come from. The minute I'm over here lighting my blunt in the fireplace. There you go. Had to light my blunt in the fireplace because I feel like putting out my lighter. Um, but and so they understand that. And there was a time that we used to understand this. But one thing that white supremacy has done is gotten us disconnected from ourselves. We've disconnected from our history on both here in the United States. We've disconnected from our world history, and we've disconnected from our interstellar history and the influence that the planets and our environment have on us. We've disconnected from all that. So when you tell me I don't celebrate the red and white and blue, that's a white man's colors, you're just telling me that you've given up your power. Let me say that one more time. I think I got to say that again for it to sink in. When you tell me celebrating red, white, and blue is celebrating a white man, you've given them your power because their power is based in your power. And my ancestors who built this place didn't put in all that work for me to give it up and say, I reject it. No, the fuck they didn't. No, the hell they didn't. So I celebrate the red, white, and blue. Because everything good about the red, white, and blue came from somebody I share blood with. And I fight to hold on to what we've given to the red, white, and blue. And I fight to get my share of it. What the red, white, and blue decide to do with their corrupted bullshit they put around the world, that's on them. Give me my cut. I don't, first of all, and I don't mean, and I'm going to say something else that, honestly, this may offend some people. Matter of fact, this would have offended me years ago. And it's so counter against where my heart is. Because my heart is, in my heart, I love everybody. I'm a Gemini too. So two things, for me, two things, I'm very duplicitous. Two things can exist at the same time as Gemini. I can really be all on something and I can really be like off that same thing, off something else at the same time. On one hand, I really do have a heart for the world, a heart for humanity. But at the same time, fuck these niggas. Black Americans have been under the worst form of genocide over the last 400 years, and ain't nobody fucking helped us out. That's just being real. Name one country that offered any kind of asylum to Black Americans facing the oppression that we would face. Has China done it? Japan? Mexico? Mexico did at one point, back in the John Horse days, but that was a contract because they needed help against the French and against the United States. That was because they needed help defending their borders. They did that shit. The minute Mexico's borders were shored up, they weren't offering no fucking asylum to us. Trinidad and Tobago, they offer citizenship? Does Brazil offer citizenship? Does Nigeria, Cameroon, South Africa, Ethiopia, Saudi Arabia, Poland, Turkey, Mongolia? Where y'all at? Have any of these countries offered any level of asylum to Black Americans? India, Turkmenistan, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Australia, New Zealand? Anybody? Argentina? Panama? Jamaica? Where they at? That's why I'm saying, Black people, this is why we must stand on our square. As much as people want to say they want to come together with us, and it's wrong that we say this, have their countries, the places that they come from, have any of these places around the world offered any assistance because they know what's going on? They've always known what's going on. If we want to get real deep, Morocco, where y'all at? Y'all sold us out. Morocco was the first country that recognized the United States as an independent nation. African country named Morocco. Morocco got treaties signed going way back to the 1800s. But hell, Morocco also helped assist these motherfuckers with slaves. Let's not talk about that. Moors, dirty Moors. The dirty Moors out there, them dragon Moors out there, who helped sell us out and put us in this position. Yes, it was good Moors, the Phoenician Moors, the Phoenix Moors that were enlightening. But hey, them dragon Moors, them dirty Moors, don't give a fuck about us. And they assisted these white motherfuckers in taking us out. White people do this shit on their own. There's a lot of help from black people, from Moors. Ain't nobody came to help us. And that's not to complain and say they should have. Look, every empire goes through its ups and downs. We at our down. I'm not here to say they should have sent any help. I ain't here to say that. But I am here to say, well, since you didn't, when you didn't have the opportunity, it's fuck you. So if your country's in slaughter, oh well. I don't give a fuck. If your country has a bunch of shit in the streets and ain't no one in water, well, it's millions of y'all. You mean one of you dumb motherfuckers couldn't invent a toilet? No disrespect to Nigerians, but y'all brag about y'all degrees. If your degree means so, what's up with the Nigerians in Nigeria with shit in the street? What's up with that? What good is your degree, your test scores? What good is a Nigerian test score and building a supercomputer if the people at your home got shit in the streets? Y'all can't come together enough just to clean up the shit, then go back to fighting? See, at least in America, the Crips and the Bloods came after we invented a toilet. We invented the toilet and the doorknob. We invented the doorknob, the toilet, motherfucking macaroni and cheese, potato chips, ice cream, nigga, elevators. We civilized this motherfucker first before we started fighting. The Crips and Bloods that come to after we civilized this country. Let's just tell the truth. It wasn't until after we created the telephone, the cell phone, that we started getting into Crip and Blood activities. Nigga, our Crip and Blood activities came after we invented the gas mask. Our Crip and Blood activities came all after we took care of business. We can say that. I ain't saying our shit is straight. Black Americans, we fucked up. If we weren't fucked up, we wouldn't be in a position where we fucked up. We are. We are not in a good position. We have too much internal conflict. You know what I mean? We celebrate the wrong shit. Like, y'all know how much I love basketball. But should no fucking athlete be ever compared to Malcolm X or Black Panther? Never. Or Jordan. We should never know more about Michael Jordan than we know about George Washington Carver. That's a pity on us. We ain't shit for that. We ain't shit for that. We ain't shit for allowing these white American motherfuckers to have us gender warring against each other. I get so disappointed in black women every time I hear them say, well, black women, black women, black women. Okay, cool. Okay, just say you hate black men, fine. X black men out. What about your fucking kids? You got a son. And all you want to say is black women, black women. What do you think that does to your son through the power of omission? Omission is extremely powerful. So if mama's always black women, black women, black women, what about your kids? What about your daughters? They ain't women yet, they girls. Falling for the stupid ass trap. Same with you dumb ass niggas. We passport bros. The women here in America just don't want to cooperate, so we're gonna go to Brazil to get some action. No, nigga. Black men, we fucked up. Just like black women fucked up. How about we heal ourselves together? How about that radical idea? Understand, yeah, our black women are fucked up. Yes, they are. Just like we fucked up. Let's bring our fucked up asses together and let's come together and let's dedicate to each other to help each other heal. You dedicate to her to help her heal, she dedicate to you. How about that? How about that? You got parents that I remember when I used to work in mental health, I had parents that would lie and try to get their kids hooked on drugs so they can get a check. Oh, my daughter she be seeing things. And then we go talk to her daughter, and she be talking normal. She's like, "Oh yeah, I was seeing something the other day." Okay, what was you seeing, Michelle? Man, I was seeing this ghost, right? And you could tell her the mama coached him. I was seeing this ghost, and the ghost was in my room, and the ghost was in the closet, and I keep seeing this ghost, so I need some medicine. And you be like, man, you be knowing the mama scripted that. I used to have to deal with so many parents trying to get their kids put on medicine so they can get a fucking check. Black Americans, we fucked up. I ain't here to say we perfect, but I am here to say this. There's a critical mass of us who have good intentions and a good heart towards fixing our fucked up. But what happens when you heal your wounds? If you got cut, just say we out there, y'all know I like using analogies. Say you cut yourself. When you say something simple, when you prick your finger and you're bleeding, you hit that artery where it's just gushing out. Y'all ever hit that artery in your finger, at the top of your finger, to where if you cut that motherfucker deep enough, the blood just keep coming out? Well, when you hit that artery, when the blood keep gushing, do you have time to tend to brushing your hair? Do you have time to massage your ankle? Or do you need to tend to that cut first? Yes, we're all part of the same body. The ankle is no different than the head, which is no different than the finger, which is no different than the heart and the legs and the elbows. But if you prick that artery on your finger and your blood is gushing out, you don't have time to put lotion on your elbows. Yes, your elbows are ashy, but now it's time to lotion your elbows up. Let's fix this open wound. And after I fix this open wound, I can now think about putting lotion on my ashy ass elbows. But I gotta fix this open wound first. And that's where we are. So when you start dumping your shit on us, and when we have our shit that we doing right, and you wanna, oh, now Black History Month is African History Month. Oh yeah, we talking Black history now. Here you come. Oh yeah, this African created a supercomputer. Fine. Well, create African History Month and talk all about it. Ain't nothing stopping you. Go right ahead, nigga, and we'll celebrate your history. But you got to start it. It's like we started Black Negro History Week, which was supposed to be the week between Abraham Lincoln and George Washington's birthday. And that's why it's in February. And that goes to you people who want to go around saying, well, this is the shortest month of the year. Yes, it is, but that wasn't done nefariously. We always got to be right and exact when we got to be precise when we're talking about history. The reason why Black History Month falls in February isn't because they were trying to give us the shortest month of the year. That wasn't what it was. It's because Carter G. Woodson wanted to celebrate the week between Lincoln and Washington's birthday, because that was the beginning and ending of slavery in the United States of America. Now, of course, slavery was going on when there was the 13 colonies, but Washington was the first president. Lincoln was the 16th, the one that abolished slavery. So it was Carter G. Woodson, the person who wrote the book, The Miseducation of the Negro, a book that I highly, 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 highly recommend all of you read if you haven't read it already. Miseducation of the Negro. It was him that decided to have Negro History Week during that time. And then later on, it expanded from a week to a month. That's the root of Black History Month. So it was Black Americans taking initiative to celebrate our own. And we got Black History Month going because of a decision that we made. So unlike some other previous generations, this millennial generation, the younger Gen X into millennial into Gen Z, we believe in preserving our culture. That wasn't as much of a priority to the baby boomer. And to you baby boomers who listen to me, y'all know I love you. I got a lot of baby. I'd be surprised at how many baby boomers listen to me because I be talking so much shit. Baby boomers have like they sensibilities are like far more conservative than us millennials. But I got a fair amount of baby boomer listeners, especially out of St. Louis. Salute to all y'all out of St. Louis. I know recommending. They be coming to me for readings and shit. I'd be like, you listen to me? I'd be like, man, I'd be cussing it. Like I would never. Some of the people that listen to me, I would never cuss in front of them in real life because I don't cuss in front of my elders. I just out of respect. Well, unless I have that relationship with them. But if I don't know my elder, I don't cuss around elders if I don't know them like that, just out of respect. But I be on YouTube cussing up a storm. So salute to my baby boomers. But we gotta tell the truth. We gotta tell the truth. We don't sacrifice the truth for people's feelings around here, right? Right, people? We don't sacrifice the truth for feelings, right? Baby boomers bought into the American idea of let's all come together and integrate. And basically, integration requires giving up your cultural identity in some way, shape, or form. And the baby boomer generation, by and large, I know there are exceptions, but by and large, the baby boomer generation bought into that. And that made these other groups comfortable to snatch off our greatness while individualizing their great and separating themselves when they do something great. When they do something bad, okay, yeah, they're part of us. When we do something great, they're part of us. When they do something great, they're their own. When we do something bad, they're we're different. They're different from us. They set up that matrix. We didn't set it up. We came here accepting and open to all black immigrants, especially black immigrants. I remember I'll never forget, this is a friend of mine back in 2016 when Trump got in. And me and her are very cool. We differ slightly on some things politically. But when I was saying I don't mind Trump being in office, I didn't vote. I didn't vote for either person. I said because Trump is gonna scare the immigrants. That shit gonna be funny as hell. And she was like, I get it, but there are black immigrants too. And I was like, yeah, there's some cool black immigrants. But by and large, they'll be on that fuck shit too. And she got mad at me initially. And then I brought up a story she had told me before about a coworker who was African that was doing some shit. And I was like, we never, they never really clicked with us like that. And while she was in mid defense of them, she sat back and she thought for a moment. And she was like, huh. And she really started to think, like, outside of a friend here and there, yeah. So this isn't something that we as black Americans asked for. We actually at one point we had the door open for you too. If you talk 10 years ago, 10 years ago, black Americans don't mind you saying throwing some African shit in Black History Month. 10 years ago. Even 5 years ago to some point. But we reevaluated how our hospitality's been treated. You know how it is when you invite a guest to your home and they're a friend of your friend, and they kind of being low key, keep disrespectful, but you trying to low key keep the peace, so you kind of let a lot of things slide, just because you really don't want to create drama at the party. So you let some shit slide just so the fun shit can keep going on. That's what we've been doing. We just not letting that shit slide no more. So, what is Black History Month? Black History Month is a celebration of the greatness that the Black American has given this nation. And to any group that has genuine respect for us can respect that. Can you dig it? Any group that has genuine respect for us can respect that. Because if you have respect for your own group, you're not going to allow other groups to tag on to what you have, to your cultural contributions. And you don't allow outside, even other Black people. If Black Americans said, if Black Americans one day woke up and said, "Hey, jollof rice is ours," how do you think Nigerians will react? If Black Americans woke up and said, "Hey, jerk chicken is really a Black American invention recipe," how do you think Jamaicans will react? Think about it. Think about it. So, as your own spirit answers you and tells you the truth before the bullshit comes in and tells you you didn't think what you just thought, keep that initial thought that came to your mind, that initial instinctful reaction that you got when I asked you how would a Jamaican act if Black Americans said that jerk chicken is ours? How would a Nigerian react if he said jollof rice is ours? That initial reaction your spirit gave you is the reason why we must respect one another's cultural differences. Everybody gets acknowledged for their work. That's fair. Fairness and genuine love, not fake love, not being phony and a weird ass, not being a dickhead, but real love requires everyone to be acknowledged for what they bring to the table. That's real love. So if you really love me, you don't have any issues with me acknowledging what I brought to the table exclusively. You don't need me to add in yours because you have enough esteem within yourself to give yourself that. You don't need to give it to me. You don't need me to give it to you because you've already given it to yourself. That's true power. True power, true love is giving yourself what you think you need from other people. Let's just tell the truth about life. Can I get a little deep with y'all real quick? Let me, I'm kind of talking on the surface level, but let me go a little bit deeper. Let me go a little deeper for y'all. Y'all be saying y'all want me to. Let me go a little deeper. I don't go 80% as deep as I could go here on YouTube. I go about 20% as deep as I can on here. But I try to keep it, you know. Anyway, in life, the key to life and the key to socializing and having social awareness and emotional intelligence is you have to give yourself everything that you need and want. Nobody can give you anything. So in relationships, if you're looking for love, you got to first love yourself. And we hear that in cliches. That right there ain't nothing deep. We hear that shit all the time. We hear it so much, it's now become a cliche. No one ever takes the time to dissect what that really means. It just sounds good. You know, you gotta love yourself to get whatever it is you think you need. Yeah, it just sounds good. No one ever really breaks it down. Wholeness is going back to how I started the show. 1+1 = 3. That's a true relationship. Y'all see how I bring shit full circle? 1+1 = 3. If you want to be loved, you gotta love yourself and your flaws. You gotta love that extra roll of fat on the side of your leg or whatever. Ladies, you gotta love them thunder strikes going through your belly from when you done contracted and expanded. I know I love my goddamn thunder strikes. Shit. Shit. We niggas, especially some of you niggas in the chat, man, Dwan, you need to lose weight. You need, and I've been thinking in my mind, why? So I can impress you? I just had my physical last month. All my numbers are good. Everything. My cholesterol was high 3 years ago. That shit's normal, nigga. My vitamin D was low. I started waking up every morning and standing on the same very porch, getting that sun. I'm good. I'm not here to aesthetically please a whole bunch of niggas I don't know. I'm already married. I don't, and not more than being married. I've given myself permission to be who I need to be, and if I want to change it, I'll change it. Recently, this past October, I decided to change it. So I got up and changed it. And where I end up, it still ain't gonna be. It's probably still not gonna be what other people say, because I don't give a fuck about what other people say. It's all about me. This is Dwan world. I live in Dwan world. I have a fun world. I live in Dwan world, and it's a very fun place to be. It's a place of random thoughts, of weird shit and funny shit. Like I was sitting at home earlier today, and I was thinking, God damn, it'd be fucked up to be a midget with one long leg. I'd be like, God really don't like me if I was born a midget, but one of my legs was dwarf size. Because ain't midgets and dwarfs like different sizes? Obviously that, but that thought came to my mind. That's the one world. And then 30 seconds later, I thought about, damn, I was thinking about, telepathic communication and how, as a musician, it's one thing I love about music is being on the drums live on stage, and I can just look at the bass player and I sync my foot with his bass thump. We never rehearsed it, never talked about it, but just from a look, we take the groove from dun dun to dun 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 dun. That change of groove just came from a look, and we just locked in telepathically. And then my next thought, like 45 seconds after that, was damn. Today's a 9 of spades day in cardology. That means a mental graduation. That means today is a day of elevating yourself mentally and spiritually and growing to a new level. And it also means death of a relationship. 9 of spades can mean a relationship can end. See how random I am? That's the one world. But I love my world. So for somebody that's not in my world to tell me to change anything about my world is actually insulting to me. Because I've given myself permission to be what it is whenever I want to be. And I've also given myself permission to change. Yes, yesterday I thought this about whatever. But today I think that. And I'm going to do that. And I've given myself permission. Well, Dwan, what are they going to think? I'm, well, fuck what other people going to think. Nigga, my car no due. Y'all going to help me with that? How much you got on the card? No, motherfucker, put it in the Cash App. And to the level you put in that Cash App is the level I'll consider what you think. And no matter what number that is, I can guarantee you it ain't gonna be enough to sway what I think. Because my thoughts and my perception of what I give myself doesn't have a cash value. I'm Dwan motherfucking Brown, nigga. I love myself. And the parts about myself I don't love, I've worked like the Dickens to change. For real, for real. The parts about myself I don't love, I'm constantly in mental reevaluation of myself. Yeah, Dwan, this part of what I do, I ain't really feeling it. I gotta change it. But damn, I got so many mental connections and baggage. Why do you think I'm always promoting Kendall to hypnosis? She's been amazing in my life, going to hypno sessions with her. She's helped me get rid of so much trauma. Why do you think I talk about mushrooms so much? Nigga, I've let go so much emotional baggage and anger through mushroom trips in my life. I'm not a doctor, so I can't tell y'all what to do. But between therapy, traditional talk therapy, hypnotherapy, getting a numerology reading once a year from Mr. Lloyd Strayhorn or King Simon, maybe getting an astrological reading from Priestess, or I'm going to try Astro D. This is Lady Cheryl Astro D. Look her up on YouTube. Astro D is dope. I'm going to hit her up for an astrology reading one day pretty soon. She's dope. I've found her YouTube channel. I love her perception on astrology. So I'm going to hit her up for a reading pretty soon. But even readings, I gave myself permission to do this. 5 years ago, I wouldn't have done no fucking readings. If you told Dwan Brown to do a reading in 2016, that same time I was talking to y'all about earlier, I would have told you to kiss my black ass. I ain't reading shit. You better read these nuts, nigga. That's what I would have told you. If you told me about a reading in 2005, not only would I told you to read these nuts, I would have told you to read Corinthians 3:16 or some shit. I was in church heavy. I would have been like, not only should you read these nuts, nigga, you should read Romans 7 and 12. You should read Deuteronomy 19:15 or some shit. I would have came up on the scripture that you should have read if you told me about some damn astrology or goddamn the Sirius star system being the mother planet of seeds here on Earth. And I would have said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and listen to some Pastor Frederick K.C. Price, because whatever you talking about is gonna send me to hell. That's what I would have thought in 1998. But those were also the days I looked outside of myself for validation. I wanted other people to say things about me. I wanted other people to see things in me. I wanted other people to agree with me. And let me tell you something. There's absolutely no power into looking for the next man to agree with you, to validate you. Now it's cool when they give you a compliment and say something like, because sometimes certain things about yourself is so close to you, you don't see. So, like earlier when I said to Sheena, told me how much of a talent that is to be able to hold attention in the dark. I needed to see that because I'm at a point in my career, in my life now, to where I got a lot of people talking to me about my content. Not just one app, I got a few apps that's hitting me up about my content. And so I value her sewing into me because now when I go into negotiations with these apps that are hitting me up about my content, I have a better perception about the value that I bring. So her telling me that wasn't me needing, like, I know I'm dope. I just what I needed was a percept that when somebody who's an absolute legend tells you hold their attention, that just takes on a different weight. It's just, I mean, I've seen every episode of Martin at least 40 times. I'm talking about every episode, even the episodes when Gina left Martin in season 6, the season that don't nobody like. Nigga, I like that season too. So when somebody of that stature tells you hold it, so it's like, okay, what that did for me is, okay, as I go into talking to these different places that like my services, I now have that in the back of my mind. So that's not to say you can't get input from other people. We must always be open to input. So let me say that too. That may sound contradictory, don't it? On one hand, I said it don't give a fuck about nobody else, but then 5 minutes later, what did I just say? We still should be open to input. But for those of you who understand paradox, you know what I mean. Life is a paradox. If you don't know what paradox is, look it up. You can't be like, we're the one to explain everything. Now, some shit you just gotta look up. Look up the word paradox. Two things can absolutely be true at the same time. It's like what Miles Davis said. Dizzy Gillespie said it too. Herbie Hancock said it. Heard it from a lot. The greatest musicians said the same thing. You learn everything about music and forget it all. That's what John Coltrane said when he talked about coming up under Miles Davis. He said you learn everything you can learn about music. And then once you've learned everything you can learn, you forget it all. So, going back to what I was saying about paradox, you still keep your mind and your heart open to other people and what they have to say, because every now and again, people gonna say things that's gonna sharpen you up. But at the same time, what other people say don't mean shit, and you know who to listen to and who not to. Not necessarily because of who they are, but because of what your spirit says about them. That's why I meant a lot when Kendall said the same thing as Tashina. Because I respect Kendall so much for what she does. And just as a person, I got so much respect for her. So when she said that, I was like, okay. So on one hand, I'm open, but on the other hand, it's certain things people have said, DeWan, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And I have respect for these same people. And I've been like, well, I got respect for you, but I'm DeWan motherfucking Brown, nigga. So I'm going to keep that particular aspect of me. I love you. But on this particular topic, fuck yeah. I still love you, though. You got to give yourself what you seek in others. And that goes out to my brothers and sisters in the LGBTQ community. That goes out to you fat motherfuckers going around talking about, you can't be fatophobic. No, you can definitely be fatophobic. I don't like fat people either, and I'm fat. You niggas, most of you niggas stink. I'm the kind of fat nigga, you ain't never gonna smell me. It was funny, this is like 10 years ago. We was at the comedy club. Y'all know Clayton Thomas? Person number one, if y'all know Clayton Thomas. CT. He be on All Roast Me, All Deaf. He be on 5150 too, sometimes. Person number one, if y'all know Clayton Thomas. I love this song. Sound of the Moors. Yeah, y'all, DeAndre, yeah, y'all know who Clayton Thomas is. This is like 10 years ago. We at the comedy club. And Clayton pulls me to the side. He's like, hey, DeWan, there's a bunch of comments around. He said, DeWan, don't take this as an offense. But we was just saying, you're a big dude, but we ain't ever smelled you. I was like, what? I was like, the niggas started falling out laughing. And then there's this other fat comic, I'm not going to say his name. He was in the room. I'm not gonna put him out like that because he's a good dude. But sometimes that nigga be stinking. And that dude had just walked through. And because I saw that, I was like, okay. And everybody fell out laughing. They were like, yeah, a lot of these fat niggas around here be stinking. And we talking about all the fat comics. And everybody was saying, nigga, you the only fat nigga ain't none of us smell. These niggas be stinking. So I said that to say, I don't necessarily like fat people either. Because fat niggas do be stinking. Just because you got a whole bunch of rolls, look, you should only have enough rolls in your skin that you can manage to clean. If you get to the point to where you can't clean your rolls, you got to lose some rolls and get down to the level of fat that you can manage. I know I speak from personal experience. There was once a time your boy was around 400 pounds. I had gotten real big. I drove a Chevy Tahoe back then. I remember getting in my car. I remember one day I was driving and I started snoring and I was wide awake. I was like, oh, hell no. I ain't about to be that fat nigga that's snoring when he awake. I don't like them kind of niggas. You be sitting in the movie theater, enjoying the movie. Here come the romantic scene, and this fat nigga sitting over next to you is. You don't get that Twinkie out your throat, nigga. That's the worst shit on earth. And I said, you know what? I like being fat, but I don't like being fat that much. I don't like being fat that much to where I hear myself breathing. So I got down to a more manageable fat weight, around 360. And I stayed at 360 for a long time. Now, and y'all gonna be following I actually am documenting my weight loss journey through my trainer, Latrell Mitchell. We just haven't really gotten a chance to start filming shit yet because everything has been coming up. But I'm helping her with her YouTube channel. She's a dope celebrity trainer. She trained, and I can't wait till her YouTube channel come up. But she trained Michael Strahan. She trained motherfucking Terry Crews at one point. She trained some dope people. I ain't gonna name all names. She ain't it's like she trained like for moments in time, you know. I got a dope ass trainer. But again, that came from a decision that I made because when I went to my physical, I told y'all before where it came, the decision came out of a mushroom trip. It didn't come from any of you niggas. Tell you that goddamn much. But I was in a mushroom trip, and the mushrooms was like I was on a toilet. The first 2 hours of my mushroom trip, nigga, I did not feel good, y'all. I'm on a toilet, but ain't nothing coming out. I'm feeling like I need to vomit, but ain't nothing coming out. I'm just feeling miserable. And the mushrooms was like, gotta stop eating meat. You gotta get in shape. You gotta get in better shape. And the my mushroom trip for the first 2 hours wasn't shit. My stomach was fucked up, y'all. Y'all see the agony in my face? The first 2 hours of that mushroom trip was fucked up. And I felt it viscerally. And it said you could no longer eat beef. And y'all know I haven't eaten beef since. And I love beef. And I cook the dopest prime rib you done ever had. My prime rib, I get that prime rib with the bone in it, and I season it the night before, and I slow smoke it on my grill for 5 hours at like 170 degrees, so it tenderizes. And then I add some heat to the grill, and I sear it both sides. I'm talking about my 64-ounce tomahawk, and I sear both sides for 10 minutes. It still got that thick pink in the middle. I love that shit. But the mushrooms was like, nigga, you can't eat beef no more. If y'all remember Craig Facts back in the day, on this very show, I used to be on a mic a lot, and I'll be having to clear my throat a lot. That's because the nigga was eating too much beef. And that beef was giving me mucus. Hey, Trey, I don't buy that. Give up meat, your third eye open up. Nigga, my third eye is on some serious shit. Nigga, if giving up beef opens up your third eye, nigga, that means I'm gonna see to the 19th dimension because I already see to the 18th. Eating plenty of meat. I dare any non. I ain't found a vegan yet that can stick with me up in here. So I don't buy that. You don't eat meat. You give up meat. Your mind clear. I went raw vegan for 2 months. It felt good. I felt clear. It felt cool. But nigga, it didn't add to my creativity. I was just as creative when I was going to norms at one. I would go hoop and play basketball and go to norms at 1 a.m. Nigga, my mind was every bit as open then as it was when I went raw vegan. Matter of fact, when I went raw vegan for that month or two was when I was on Craig Facts. Go back to any episode of Craig Facts 2020, July through September. I was raw vegan through that whole stretch. I wasn't no more funny during that stretch than I was before or after. I don't believe in none of that shit. If you do, cool, because I do believe in if it worked for you, it's cool with me. I don't believe in telling other people what they should and shouldn't believe in. I'm just saying I don't buy that bullshit because I dare somebody raw vegan to stick with me when it comes to my motherfucking third eye. Nigga, my third eye is not blind. You dig? Yeah, Babylon, there's no one size diet. What's up, Big Pontiac? But beef was literally fucking with my voice. I'm talking to y'all and I'm having to clear my throat. I got too much respect for myself to represent myself that way. And I got too much respect for you guys' ears to give you that. Y'all come in and listen to me. Y'all giving me y'all time. I'm giving y'all good information. But every time I talk, I gotta but that got shown to me vividly during the mushroom trip. The mushrooms was like the beat, and then it was taking my energy. I'm having to take day naps, and I'm an energetic nigga. Again, going back to people talking about you gotta be a vegan to be active and to be productive. Nigga, oh, check out my man J Mo. Y'all know I got a production credit in music. J Mo did the Maggot Brain live in Long Beach. It's on iTunes, it's on Spotify. I'm a producer on that song. The Maggot Brain Live by Jairus Mosey. It's on iTunes and it's on Spotify. It's on all of it. Jairus Mosey, The Maggot Brain Live in Long Beach. I'm a producer on that song. I dare one of you vegan niggas to match my schedule in production. I dare one of you niggas that's vegan to match my schedule. So I don't believe none of that shit. I believe do whatever works for you. That's what I believe. If being vegan works for you and that's what you needed to be productive, I love it. I love it. But beef was slowing me down. And then I read my cards. Y'all know I did my card reading for the year again. And when I read my cards for the year, We're in the Seven of Hearts here in the cards. And the Seven of Hearts rules health. The Seven of Hearts says, get your health in order or you going to get fucked up. And I got a warning on October, I think it's October 30th. Because October 30th is the Seven of Hearts day. I think it's October, or October 29th. Whatever Hearts Day falls in October. I forgot, don't excuse me, I forget the exact date. But it's a Seven of Hearts day. I had to have an emergency I had to have an emergency tooth pulled because of an infection in because of a crown that I had that was never put on right by the lab. I really could sue that dentist, but I'm not going to. That crown was never right and infected my tooth. I had to get that tooth pulled, and that happened on the Seven of Hearts day. And my own spirit was like, hey, you gotta. When that happened, it was like, man, you gotta get your shit. And this was like the week after I did that mushroom trip that told me to get my shit in order. And I got my shit in order. And then I said, you know what? I need a trainer. Every time I tried to get back in shape since I had knee surgery back in 2011. Every time I tried to get in shape since 2011, I would re-injure something because my rehab wasn't shit when I had that knee surgery. My rehab wasn't shit. So every time I go to get back in shape, every time either playing basketball or whatever, I would re-injure something. I would either re-injure my knee or my back, and then that would take me out. So I was like, man, for me to get back in it right, I'm going to need to get in shape. And then the universe, when you put it out there, the universe listen, boom. I ended up getting a dope-ass celebrity trainer, and we got a cool, and it ain't even what I thought it would be. You know what I mean? It's something that I can definitely handle. That's what happens when you put it out there. When you're ready to change, and this is a message to everybody, when you truly in your heart ready to change something and you take steps towards making those changes, whatever needs to happen to assist you along with those changes is going to happen. That's faith, right? That's applied faith. Just know that. Just know that whenever, just like when they have the cliche, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the teacher is ready, the master will appear. Same thing when you're truly in your heart ready to make any kind of change. There's going to be some level of intervention. There's going to be somebody that enters your life that's going to be there to assist you with that change. Get out of here with that red meat. You're right, Quan. I don't know any 100-year-old vegans. You know what my grandfather was eating a few weeks before he died at 98 years old? He was loving Fat Burger and Church's chicken. My grandfather's last 15, like, he cooked for himself a lot, but my grandfather's last 20 years living, from the age of like 78 to 98, all my grandfather, he ate other stuff, but my grandfather primarily ate Church's chicken, Fat Burger, and he was mentally sharp. The thing that made my grandfather ultimately passed away, he was losing some function in his body and he passed it. He fell and he hit his head. And he had to go and he had some brain bleeding. Do you know my red meat eating 98-year-old grandfather? Do you know he started recovering from the brain bleed? He was starting to recover. The last day I saw him before he died, he was talking to me about moving to Los Angeles in 1937. This was after His brain was bleeding. A meat eater. His whole life. Red meat. Red steak. Yes, he loves steak. And he loved himself a fat burger, nigga. Sometimes he'd eat the king burger. Red meat for your ass. What ultimately made him end up passing away was the person that was in his room caught COVID, and that made him catch COVID. It was the COVID that made him go. This was a 98-year-old lifelong meat-eating man, red meat-eating man. Brain was recovering from a brain bleed at 98 years old to where he could recall memories from 1937. Fuck out of here with that. You got to be a vegan. If you want to be a vegan, fine. You be a vegan. I don't eat beef no more, but I don't begrudge those. That's nothing about it. When I gave up beef, I ain't never with nobody that eat beef saying you should give up beef too. Giving up beef has done wonders for me. I don't have that mucus in my throat anymore. My energy is coming back. Beef was just taking a long time to process, and it was taking my energy. It wasn't my thing. But chicken don't do that to me, so I eat plenty of chicken. Hell, I still eat pork. Pork don't slow me down. I go eat some baby back. So goddamn, matter of fact, tomorrow, I think I'm gonna go to Costco tomorrow and get some baby backs and put them holes, because it ain't gonna rain. I think LA done raining right now. I think tomorrow I'm gonna go to Costco, get some baby backs and put them holes on my grill tomorrow and slow smoke them motherfuckers for like 5 hours in the smoker at 200 degrees. Just let them, tenderize them motherfuckers. I think I might do that. Fuck out of here. Be who you gonna be, and let other people be who they gonna be. How about let's just do that, and then it's cool to give suggestions. It's cool to give suggestions. Like me, when I talk, I just give suggestions. At the end of the day, I don't know. My suggestion may not work for you. You may do what I suggested down to a T, and the shit didn't work. And all I'm gonna say to that is, I'm sorry it didn't work for you. Worked for me. Just like at the same time, there have been people who've done things that work for them. I've tried it. I tried as best I could try it, and it didn't work for me. Like in comedy, when I was doing stand-up comedy a lot, everybody would say you got to write your joke and develop a set. Well, when I used to try to write jokes and develop a set, that didn't work for me. It was so bad. Writing jokes and developing a set was, for me, I'm so against it. It made me hate stand-up comedy because I tried to conform with the conventional wisdom. The conventional wisdom was you write a 3-minute set, you write a 7-minute set, you write a 15-minute set, a 20-minute set, 30-minute set, a 45, an hour, and an hour and a half. Conventional wisdom is in comedy is you have a set for each environment. Because if you're auditioning, you're only going to get 3 minutes max. If you're performing locally here in LA at a comedy club, you're probably only going to get 7 to 10. A feature spot opening for a major comic is probably going to be 15 minutes, 15 to 20. And then headlining is going to be 45 to an hour. Co-headlining 30. So that was conventional wisdom. I tried that. It made me end up hating stand-up comedy because DwannBrown style was improv, top of my head. And that's what my show's going to be about, February 25th. Tickets are in the description. That's what my show's going to be about. It's going to be me improving. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do on stage. When I approach the stage with a clear mind, some comments say don't get high before getting on stage. I can perform high, I can perform drunk, I can perform sober. It don't matter to me. I'm going to perform. My style is walking to that stage, and opening myself to what the moment brings. And instinctively, I know when it's time to end. That's my style. And when I got comfortable with my style and I got secure in my style, again, giving myself the permission to embrace my style, that's when I got happy again on stage. That's when I got happy again. I wasn't happy when I was denying myself to fit the box others created. There are no boxes, people. We're talking about Black History Month. Why are we calling what is Black History Month? Black History Month is also yourself. Remembering who the fuck you are. You're the God that's creating your own reality. And whatever box you create for yourself is the box that it is. Just know that if you decide whatever box you decide to create for yourself, just accept your box. Don't put that on somebody else. Because it's going to cause internal frustration within you. One of the ways to avoid frustration is to stop expecting other people to be what you want them to be. Just let people be who the fuck they is, and you be who the fuck you is, and that is what it is. I'm about to sign off in a little bit, but when it comes down to it, man, love yourself. Black History Month is loving ourselves, and as a culture, even though there are no boxes, but cultures do exist. Cultures are necessary components of life. If people didn't have cultures, we wouldn't be able to live on Earth. You create cultures to defend yourself and insulate yourself from the environment around you. And we as Black Americans, we created a unique culture here in North America that insulated us from a country that we contributed to all of its greatness, but wasn't allowed to participate in. Y'all hear me? So during this month, and we do celebrate it year round, but during this month, it's intensified. Yeah, celebrate Black History 365. That goes without saying. But February, it's intensified. And that's a fact. It's on the cards. I've been learning, I've been practicing. What card am I going to pull now? Huh. Oh, both of them came. Both clubs. Okay. 8 of clubs. That's the reason why this card came. That's a fixed card. That's the card of being secure in your own thoughts and creating your own reality and being fixed to the point to where you can't be swayed by the thoughts and opinions of others. You're going to be who you are. And no matter what goes on in the world around you, you're going to stay fixated to who you are. It's crazy how the cards work, right? I pulled the card that represents being fixed. And what we talking about tonight. We as Black Americans, we've been fixed. Not fixed like a fucking dog. No. I ain't talking about being neutered. Fixed. Fixed within who we are. Fixed position. Solid. So that's where we at right now. That's where we at right now. That's where we at right now. You got any questions? Chat room? Any questions? Comments before I sign off? I love these B. Tashina gave me these cards, these B cards. These B cards are so easy to control. Love these cards. Oh, 7 of clubs came up. Anyway, let's see. Am I gonna stream? No, I'm not gonna stream the show. One day will I stream the show? Yes, I will one day. This one, no. I don't think we'll have the capabilities to. Well, I don't know, Mike. Let me matter of fact, since you asked that, let me hit my camera guy and see what it would take to stream. If it wouldn't, and if the comment, I'm gonna ask, if I first ask that what it would take to stream, I got a second hit the comedy club up to see what their policy on streaming is, because they may have a policy where I can't stream, or maybe I have to charge them a certain amount of money to stream. And so let me find out the logistics of that, and then let me get back to you Monday. I'll find out Monday what the logistics of that is. But enjoy your culture. Don't let anybody feel bad for enjoying your culture, for you enjoying your culture and forwarding your culture, because everyone forwards their culture. Everyone except us. So just like others forward their culture, as there should, because we're not going to get anywhere unless we're all strong and we come together as individuals, individually strong. That's what true strength is. Empower yourself to forward and gatekeep your culture, and don't make anyone feel bad for you doing that, okay? Love y'all. Remember, there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those willing to pick up the game. Buy your t-shirts at Hotepish.com. Book your cardology reading. And know some questions about yourself. Jack of clubs. That's a slick talking nigga right there. King of hearts. Master of emotions. That's where you master your emotions, when you see that King of hearts. Anyway, my name is Dwan B. Get your readings. Holler at me. And be yourself. All right?